Right. Okay, I'll tell you what we do. We have a starter topics, really a starter topics. First one is, I think, just to warm up. Then we dig a little bit, and then we engage the audience. And they will actually give us an ideas and tell us what they exactly want to hear. Please take a seat. So here are two microphones. Who speaks just grabs one, answers question, and so. But the first one, we will take it in round. Yes, so we will start with you, sir. And here's the microphone. And the question will be rather complicated, but easy to answer. So my question, just to warm up these things, is, so what do you see, what are most important targets for attacks, most vulnerable targets for attacks, now and in the future?
Well, I've been talking about this today in the earlier session. We were talking about the Internet of Things security. So I believe if you look at the present and the future targets that are probably easier to achieve and are also dangerous, more dangerous than the traditional IT systems where you can just lose data, money, and intellectual property. In case of IoT, if production systems, if energy systems are hacked, then the lives might be at stake. And I think those systems will be hacked not only by hacktivists or hackers who want to do it just for fun, but also it might be a target for the countries, for the intelligence and other bodies like this. So it probably will be the most attacked area, and I think both companies and the states have to put a lot of emphasis on securing those systems, and it's actually currently happening, as we find out in our IDC research.
Okay, it's absolutely just fine to name just a few. So it's intellectual property for now or for the future, and of course Internet of Things in the future, right? Okay, Sandra, please.
Same question?
Yeah, same question. We just go for the first round. So what do you think? Shoot it out.
It'll be so used up. Okay, everything that he said. I actually think the most vulnerable systems today are point-of-sale systems, financial information, credit cards, because that is where you actually get the most bang for your buck, as per se. It's of monetary value. In the future, I still think it will probably be anything that is financially based. SCADA systems have been around for the past 30, 40, 50 years. They need to be updated, they need to be monitored, as does everything within our environment. But I think there's two coins of thought here, where you get the financial gain or you get the most carnage.
Okay, just a small thing to elaborate on that. I completely agree that financial system, where the money is the topic, but there are a couple of things that changes. Point of sales, of course, will not diminish, but people now pay with their smartphones, with their encrypted something, you know. There's Bitcoin currency, there are other trends. So wouldn't it become more safe and eliminate this problem at some point, or you don't really believe that?
I personally don't, because technology is engineered by humans. It's designed, it's built by humans, it's manufactured, and they manage it. So there will always be a weakest link at some point.
Okay.
And somebody will figure out the algorithm.
Right. So it's financial systems. Good one. Please, Tomasz.
Hi, Stefan from Kaspersky. There's no question that these cyber criminals are targeting financial systems. This actually reminds me of a famous quote from a bank robber from the 19th century, Mr. Willie Sutton. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was a famous bank robber in the United States. And when he was finally caught, a journalist asked him, Willie, why were you robbing banks? And he said, because that's where the money is. So this is, of course, not going to change anytime in the future. But what many people don't realize is that cyber criminals can make money even if they don't target computer systems that is financially connected as part of the financial system. Any computer, any device actually, that has an internet connection, that has some computer processing power and some memory, can be monetized in one way or another. They can send DDoS attacks, they can send spam by abusing these internet connections. Of course, the malware that's targeting, that's trying to generate money for the cyber criminals is not the most interesting one. The most interesting malware that we see at Kaspersky Lab is cyber espionage and cyber sabotage malware nowadays, which is targeting intellectual property. And the targets are usually governments and enterprises. And you would think that these systems are better protected, let's say, than the computers that we have at home. But in reality, they actually are not. And especially in countries like, I come from Romania, and if you look at how old the computers are in our governmental institutions, many of them are still running Windows XP without any updates. It's actually, I think nowadays, in some cases, it's easier to be a cyber spy than a cyber criminal.
So, okay, sorry again for misspelling your name, etc. But people and the companies, also if we talk about some intellectual property to be espionaged on and so on, they are actually moving the data anyway to the private clouds or to the semi-public clouds, rented space, etc., etc. Ain't this supposed to be more secure than keeping it all within your organization where there are more risks actually?
It's a very good question. Is the cloud more secure? Of course, you're moving the responsibility away. You're not in charge of securing the data by yourself. The cloud provider is in charge of securing that. But how secure is actually the cloud? And in my opinion, the cloud is as secure as the keys to the cloud are. And most often, these keys to the cloud are just the username and password that we type in on our endpoint. So I think the cloud is as secure as the endpoint is that you use to access it.
So does that mean that in the future there will be no point to hack companies themselves, but rather to hack some storages which are not within the company?
No, I think you got me wrong. So hacking the cloud itself is not that easy. These infrastructures are pretty secure, but hacking a cloud user and getting access to everything that he has, like we've recently seen the news about the CIA director that got his personal email account hacked, and that email account is essentially in the cloud, right? So the attackers, they didn't have to hack the cloud itself. They just had to social engineer the victim to find out his password. And once you have the keys to the cloud, then you have access to whatever is stored in there.
Thank you for this clarification. Yes. Patrick.
Hi, everyone. Patrick McLaughlin, Oracle. I agree with a couple of the previous speakers that today people are after financial information, either credit card information or banking information, or creating Trojans to live in browsers to get financial information. So the big volume is geared towards personal gain, money, straightforward money. Today, in the future, it will probably be financial, but I was also going to say intellectual property, but not necessarily very valuable intellectual property. The property in the future could be just having information about the people living in Riga and what their habits are, what their buying habits are, kind of this social information that is being gathered as part of digital. Could be interesting for some less than scrupulous suppliers to get that information, to get an advantage over their competitors. Because I think in the digital world there will be a lot of competition, and people might resort to slightly underhand techniques, to say the least, to get information on what their competitors are doing, or to get an edge or an advantage. And understanding their market could be more interesting than finding the latest design from BMW or something. So mass market type data could become interesting. It's still, again, financial, but it could be companies going down that path rather than individuals.
And you also mentioned finance, that meaning sales and so. Now, we just barely touched that, but do you think if really person-to-person payments will be more and more popular, etc., there will be maybe less and less databases that hold many records, so you can just basically steal money of just one person, not just hack into the bank and steal millions?
Well, okay, so today a lot of the information, I have to say, is taken from databases, point worth making, because you can get lots of records there. The person-to-person or peer-to-peer systems, it will depend how secure they are. And hackers are normally better than developers. Unfortunately, they're very skilled, very capable, who keep up with the times. I'm sure they have their own universities for educating each other, going to hacking conferences, etc. So person-to-person systems would probably get attacked as well, but they're not nearly as lucrative as going after doing a bulk attack and getting many records. So the server-side systems are still more interesting for an attacker on the financial front.
Okay, but in that sense, that reminds me that it still needs decrypting and it still needs some processing power to steal some of that, etc. And here, Andris is working on these quantum machines that on one hand are, of course, enormous, tremendous computing power which can be used for good or for bad. I could imagine encrypting algorithms that would run on these machines within a couple of seconds instead of years. So do you think the computers, the transactions will be more secure in the future due to the faster processing powers and the ways to encrypt that and save that? Or am I getting in the wrong direction?
Well, quantum computers, if they are built, they will certainly provide some advantage to code breakers. Probably they will be primarily available to state-level attackers, at least at the beginning.
State-level attackers, okay, yeah. No, we've seen presentations with the Bond here, and he has license to hack, license to kill. He has all the resources required, and if something needs to be done, There are generals with say, okay, do it tomorrow. So, of course, these things will be at the beginning available to maybe universities, maybe military, I don't know, maybe some research companies, etc. So eventually there is, of course, a life cycle of every technology. Now, if we come back to the processors, yes, the lamps, the transistors, and so on, so these cycles get shorter and shorter. So on one hand, we've been talking about quantum computing and quantum technologies, and I've seen some of your work and publications already many years ago, and so is this coming soon?
Well, there has been some remarkable advances over last years. We are finally getting individual components of quantum computers up to very high precision, like 99.9%. And it's finally getting to the stage where the individual components are good enough so that you could try to put thousands of them together and hope that it all fits together. Mm-hmm. Like 5 years ago, we simply didn't have good enough individual components for building something on large scale. So now it's coming to the point where one could try building a large-scale quantum computer and where one could succeed in the best case in, say, 10 years from now.
Okay. Coming back to my question, what do you see in the future would be most vulnerable things if we really are into quantum computers?
So, what I think is that computing power usually provides advantage for both person who is engineering ciphers and for person who is breaking ciphers. And the overall trend is that both of them get stronger, but usually like the power of code breaker grows like this, and the power of code creator grows like this. So higher the level of technology, the bigger the gap actually is. So I think
in advantage of the good guys,
yes.
I hope so. Oh, okay, that's a nice point. Right, please, do you have a microphone already? Yes, please. What do you think are the most vulnerable things here, and what will be to hack in the future? So what will change if we come back to the first question?
Okay, so coming from the insurance industry, my perspective is very skewed by what people insure, and therefore what the claims are coming through on the policy. So right now, that does mean personal data by and large, and so particularly credit card, debit card information, healthcare data, personal identification data, passport, driver's license information, anything that might enable you to create a false ID. So interesting that point of sale was mentioned earlier. That is a core concern of the insurance industry at the moment. Yeah. They are producing specific question sets around point-of-sale systems, vulnerabilities in point-of-sale systems, having experienced quite a lot of losses resulting from attacks on point-of-sale systems. So that is the vast majority of the claims that are flowing through dedicated security-type policies at the moment. In terms of the future, we have actually just completed the placement of our first policy for the industrial sector for blowing things up. So we insured a liquefied natural gas facility for attacks on their industrial control systems that might have a physical outcome. And we have a long queue of other customers that are looking to enter that insurance market and insure that type of risk. So the insurance market responds to the concerns of their clients. So we listen to what is of concern to our clients and then invent products against that. And so it appears that the hacking of industrial systems is now also one of the core concerns of that sector.
The infrastructure. The infrastructure. You mentioned also the private information at the very beginning regarding persons or regarding the property of the company. For example, regarding private persons, now people are sharing everything over the net. This information is almost free. They are watering holes in terms of keeping their mouth shut. So. In the shift to the open society, if it really is happening, if people are really more open, more transparent, then there's almost nothing to hide, including the name of the dog, the name of the underdog, and so on. So, is the private information, which is now available in such an abundance, would be really a target in the future when it's almost freely available?
Yes, because it's not freely available. So I might give away my internet browsing habits to those that apps that I subscribe to, but I'm not giving away my bank account details or my credit card number, which are always private. So data that would allow somebody to impersonate me or to access my financial accounts is going to remain personal.
But that goes exactly to the identity. Because I'm the person that identifies myself and says, yes, this is my credit card. Yes, I won the authorized payment. So what do you think of stealing identity? I know there are gazillionaires that may be insured that their identity is not stolen already.
I'm not sure what you mean by the question, but if you steal somebody's identity, that's potentially much more devastating than stealing their credit card number. Maybe you can go and buy a few expensive items, but with someone's identity, you can open up lines of credit, take out loans in their name, and cause all sorts of disruption and trouble to people's lives. So, that sensitive data, the passport information, the driver's license information, social security numbers, that might allow somebody to impersonate me, that is much more sensitive even than credit card data.
Okay. Tim, to you.
Coming last makes this rather difficult, so I've got to come up with something really creative and innovative. And actually, you almost heard. But I think there's a unanimity of views up here that currently financial data in all its diversity is really important. But I'd like to, I think, go back to the beginning, and the Internet of Things is opening up huge new possibilities. You combine that with some of the work being done on 5G. I think a lesson to take away is that we have to make sure that those systems are as secure as possible, because I'd agree with you, it opens enormous opportunities, particularly, I think, in terms of critical infrastructure, and just imagine, and we saw demonstrations of hacking cars, imagine when we all have electric cars and that are hacked. It'll be quite fun. But to push it a bit further out, and I've been doing quite a lot of conceptual, the practical work really didn't succeed, but conceptual work on cyborgs. And we are becoming increasingly a mixture of humans and machines. So I think in the years to come, we're going to be hacking humans. And that is, to me, deeply scary, but it's happening already. And actually, a sort of way into that is what you were just talking about, because people are giving away for free so much of their data already through social networks, And actually people, you're right, do pay for that because they pay Facebook for it. They pay those who collect. So we are already giving away a huge amount of information. And you know, when that becomes combined with the machines of which we're part, and all of you who have health watches on at the moment, all that information is going to insurance companies. You'll be able to have a worse or a higher premium to pay. You know, people are working on chip implants in brains that'll happen within 20 years. When you start hacking into that, then things get interesting.
Interesting is a nice word for this. Okay, so do you agree with the possibility in the future to steal yourselves, to hack yourselves as a person, maybe on the biological level or something? There was plenty of science fiction movies about stealing the brain identity, the idea that some knowledge out of the head, etc. Now, there are many these exhibitions already where they have these wearing hats with the sensors and everything. They plug it into the computer, they have some thoughts, ideas, they even can visualize something, they even read neurons and almost can tell a picture of what the person sees. Even if in terms it's blacker or whiter, it will eventually be more and more critical. Do you want to add to something?
Yeah, I just wanted to, it was a very good ending for this.
How else could I do it?
And actually, I don't think it's a thing of the future. Nowadays, if you go to conferences at like Black Hat and DEF CON, you can see proof of concept attacks made by, thankfully, white hat researchers against medical devices, things like insulin pumps, things like pacemakers, for the hearts. And these are electronic devices that can make the difference between death or life. So I think that in the future, you would be able to feel the pain of a cyber attack by yourself, not just because you need to reinstall your operating system.
And then it comes a subject of importance to many people who now just don't care. Okay, stolen Facebook account, who cares, I will make a new one. So, but there is this attitude. So we are mostly talking about protecting corporate information, protecting corporate infrastructure, corporate servers, private cloud, policies of passwords, and so on and so on. This is all corporate. And I understand most of the companies that were in the basement floor, in the booths, etc., they work business to business. So, of course, maybe at some point when very rich people would want to ensure themselves that none of this happens, that they want really a real firewall in the basement, not a childish firewall, but a real system that guards everything, the house. These systems already exist, so this, in some sense, it's a market. But we here today on a couple of slides saw that there's gap between the people who can afford that, who understand that, who are willing to pay for that, with the people who maybe cannot and will not be the customer. It's getting bigger and bigger. Of course, this is pure economy, but do we see that we will have solutions on that level for the private persons as well? Now, a typical example is the availability of infrastructure and software as a service, etc., to small business, to private persons. The things that were not available to private persons or to small business just, I don't know, 7-10 years ago, to huge systems costed tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars and so. So now it's available. So maybe if these cycles get shorter and shorter and shorter, we will see that in years to come. And we will talk about protecting individual, not the society in general and their awareness of some security issues, etc., but maybe it will be more like a personal insurance. You can be insured if you drive drunk, of course. Okay, you can be insured if you make some stupid things over the net. So this is a market. I mean, maybe. What do you think of that? You are insured. You had a lot of numbers. You have very clear picture of the industries, of the risks and how it changes. You have tremendous data with tons of customers, etc. So you have to see some trends here.
Yeah, the interesting trend with technology and how insurance relates to that is a move away from the individual, in fact. So we are seeing aggregated pools of risk now. And if you took motor insurance as an example, and if we all get automated cars you know, in queues going down motorways, and we can sit back and read the newspaper whilst the car drives itself. It's no longer about the individual and the errors that I make, or whether I'm drunk when I'm driving. It's about, if a car crashes, it's going to be because the infrastructure failed or the software failed. And so actually that creates a new challenge, because now the risk owner has changed. It's moved away from me to a software company or a government infrastructure project, but it's an aggregated pool of risk. And the same is true for businesses. So you mentioned the cloud and small businesses using the cloud. Now, who accepts the risk and responsibility there? The cloud vendor does not really know necessarily what data is being stored with them and what the financial value of that data is. They can't accept that risk on behalf of the thousands of customers that they're hosting for. The individual business might go to the insurance company and ask them to insure the risk. But for the insurance companies, they are now starting to realize that actually they may have a pool of aggregated exposure in one data center from one provider in one place. So I think the challenge for the insurance industry and the direction of travel is actually aggregation away from the individual.
Away from the individual. Okay.
Yeah. Can I just lighten this up for a moment? I think this is absolutely wonderful. I've been against cars that were electric and would drive me, but now I'm going to go back to my youth, because I grew up, I'm older than most of you, without drink-drive legislation. So I could go back to that. I could drink and drive in an electric car where someone else will have the risk. It sounds wonderful.
Okay.
Yes.
No, we should say yes, Jan. It's very good. I wanted you to pick the microphone.
Just about some remarks about what was earlier said. A friend of mine got recently hacked, right? His identity was stolen, and he got several contracts for mobile phones on his name. He had to replace all his documents. He had to get into the legal action to dissolve those contracts and so on and so on. So it is really about the single person, because it wasn't his fault. It was somewhere at some company that he was contracting with.
I understand.
And they lost all his data, and he was on the receiving end of the blow, right?
So he was not part of the system anymore. He as
was
we say, he had to prove
victim.
that he's not an elephant.
He was protecting his data properly. It was the company that wasn't protecting his data. He was dealing with. So in this case, I think he should have some kind of a possibility to have some kind of an insurance, right, where he doesn't have to go through all the litigation and then, claiming money from the company that lost his data, and that insurance should do it for him. So that's one thing. The other thing was about the password to the cloud. Recently, I read a paper by a security researcher about the data that was stolen from Ashley Madison portal. He took the data, he cracked the passwords, and listed the most popular ones. And it shows that passwords are really not an answer anymore, because what was the most popular password for that portal?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Password.
Password.
Yeah, that was the most popular one. And the other ones are not the ones that we can say publicly here, right? Because we know what the portal was doing, right? But the password was the most popular one. So if we don't have the proper education for the people, then nothing will be secure, because the hacker will just brute force anything and just will get to your accounts. He will steal the data.
Yeah, but this is so amazingly stupid. I mean, we can boil here for hours. We can build sophisticated systems. We can build security networks, blah, 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 blah. And then a user comes and he says, enter password. So he enters password. Isn't that a funny thing? Who wanted to elaborate on that? Yes, please, Patrick.
Just want to comment on the economics part, and going back to the first keynote in the morning about making better technology available to people who have less money, and your own question. Cloud is an answer, I would have to say. So cloud does offer economies of scale to the provider. If you take my own company, but can be any cloud provider, we have hundreds of specialists in security. Not many companies can realistically find those people, let alone afford them. So cloud does offer something in terms of increasing security, but not just to big companies, in principle to anyone who can afford it. And I won't say Oracle's necessarily the cheapest in the world or targeting the mid-market or low-end market, but there are service providers who are. And they can offer it quite cheaply and ubiquitously worldwide. I've heard inside my own company, but again, nothing to do with Oracle. that in Africa, they're looking at going with cloud because they don't have good data centers, the same way as, in fact, Eastern Europe and Africa went straight to mobile rather than having landlines. They can leapfrog
Don't
Western...
have good IT centers.
Yes.
Now, I thought that is in abundance. We
In
can
Africa.
discuss about good or bad, but the availability of hardware is...
Yeah, no, but in Africa they do not have good data centers or processes or procedures, and this gentleman will know better than I, and I've heard they're going directly to cloud.
Yeah.
But there are an awful lot of countries that have been persuaded they need tier 3 data centers and are being put in, and there is an awful lot of overcapacity, and that is not really very pleasant, let's just put it that way.
Okay. Who hasn't spoken? Sandra, you probably have
No,
spoken.
I will add on to that. Yes, the cloud is wonderful. Large organizations have great security. But again, if you look at it from a point solution perspective, you have to look at it holistically from an integration perspective, because I've seen so many cloud implementations where you have Active Directory and you have LDAP going clear text to the cloud. So where's your security? All you need is a sniffer, you need a man in the middle, and there you have all of your passwords. So it's about understanding the entire framework, not just putting in point solutions, but the entire architecture as well. And people forget about those components.
Okay, so there was a lot of things mentioned, yes, point of sales, identity, stuff like this. Now, just shoot quickly, what did we miss? We must have missed something. Now, what else is there to protect in the future and today? What's the most important thing, the most valuable thing to you that you don't want to lose today? What? Children? Pictures. Okay, so it's data. We didn't mention data. No, we okay. Pictures is not finance information. I mean, these are...
If I might say, among the data that we are giving out, one of the more important ones and sometimes forgotten is the geographical location. You know, a lot of people are giving it away, and it causes various dangers for them or for their families. And sometimes people have just open Endomondo account, and everybody can see that they are running in the forest. I mean, you know, that's one thing. The other thing is that people are giving away a lot of their information on social networks, and that gives social engineering a lot of, you know, food to think. And it actually is also a tool for the hackers to hack corporate systems, because then they can, you know, spy on people and say, hey, this guy is an administrator at this company, and probably he takes his PC home where his walls are a little bit thinner, and he might actually go and attack him at this time when he's at home and he's not protected, using some social engineering. So I think, well, we can talk for hours about what should be protected, but obviously at this moment data is the most important. Hackers want it because it's money, it's worth more and more, and it's various types of data. Data, even the geolocation, has also the value, like commercial value, because if you can say where the people are, then you know where to, for example, set up your business. And there are companies right now, telco operators, that are in some countries it's not allowed, but in some countries telco operators are actually giving the aggregated data about geolocation to the businesses to tell them, hey, you should put your store here because the women between 20 and 55 are here between 5 and 6 p.m. So this kind of information also has commercial value.
It has good commercial value. I mean, we pay quite a lot of money to this business intelligence service to analyze these layers, to give us the information, graphics, maps, and everything already color-coded.
I think that what proves that personal data is very valuable to individuals is how efficiently these crypto lockers that are going around on the internet are working. I personally know of cases where like a single mother has had her computer infected by a cryptolocker that encrypted all of her documents, including pictures of her little kids. So that's the point where the mother actually learned how to go to Tor, how to buy bitcoins, just to be able to recover those pictures. Now, that mother wouldn't have learned these things unless she wanted to recover those pictures. So this really shows that the answer with the pictures is very good. And I think we can generalize it to say that we don't want to lose our privacy, because these are our private things, these are our memories, our pictures, our, things that have happened in our past, and now all of them are in a digital form. We don't have them in like a photo book that you could lose, let's say, in case your house burns. Everything is digital, and unfortunately, people don't know how to back up. We're saying that we're trying to educate them, to teach them not to use the password like 1234. But in reality, what I've learned in these 8 years in the security industry is that education doesn't really work. So we need to kind of come up with a technical solution to make this as easy as possible.
But it always goes to the motivation, as you said correctly. Now the example you mentioned, it's a harsh one, and I hope they stay in singles. I mean, to work for bitcoins, to get your pictures back, etc. Working mother probably. So it's a bad example. So let's hope they stay so. But I think you're right here. So, Tim, do you want to add something?
Can I just follow? I mean, I'm not sure I 100% agree with you, because look how many pictures people give away for free. You know, all the pictures on social media, on Instagram, etc., etc. And I think there are some, whether it's legal or ethical or whatever, but there are some quite simple things that could be done. You know, all social media, the default could be set to geolocation being off rather than on. And there are actually, but I mean that affects the business models of the companies that are doing. But I think we could think through systemically, as you're suggesting, in an integrated way. Actually, what are the things that could be very easily done, and then start insisting on that would actually give people more privacy and.
Okay. Before we go to what needs to be done, is there anybody in the audience who thinks like a hacker, or who has some connections with a hacker, even if he's a white one or black one, etc.? Now, do you want
going
to say,
admit to it?
Do you want to say in a couple of sentences what is the most valuable thing to go for it today, and what do you think will be in the future? Now, anybody wants to say, from the hacker's point of view, please? Fun? Fun. Fun-driven, yes, but is the most cases still fun-driven? No.
I think
people go after money, right?
I think computer attacks were mostly fun-driven in the beginnings, in the 90s. Nowadays, there is either financially motivated, or let's say if they're not financially motivated, we have hacktivism, but those are like ideologically motivated, so it's not necessarily about the fun. But of course, I'm sure that these guys feel some adrenaline when they're earning money on their defacing websites.
Yeah. Do you remember what was the name of the first virus ever written by Ahmed and... No. Those guys that live in Ahmedabad or somewhere, two brothers, wrote this virus. It was just a funny virus, some stupid pictures running across the screen. Okay, maybe. Now, I don't remember, it's just, you guys have to know this, right? It's some sort of a historical book. I yesterday met a guy who wrote a absolutely new book on the people that actually were pioneers of the internet. Now, you guys have to write a book on the guys who were pioneering security and counter-security things, right? Now, it would be maybe a nice bestseller among something. We have to go on. The time is pressuring us. So now I come to the point where now we have discussed what's going on, what's happening, is that people are going after, and so. Can you elaborate on what needs to be done in terms of what exactly each and every one of you said to prevent that? I'm sorry, but...
All right, that's a very tough question.
Yeah, I said it will be tough.
Because we already mentioned most of that, right? First of all, education.
You mentioned two things,
it was that
right?
that it doesn't work. Well, I think in some cases it does. I think it is not a bad idea to actually teach children at school some of the rules of handling computers, handling networks, handling internet. Letting them know that if they are publishing something on Instagram or Facebook or any web page, it's not going away. Even if they use Snapchat, I'm not sure how many of you use Snapchat, it is actually, in theory, it's disappearing. But in fact, if there is someone who is smart enough, he can, capture the screen or find it in another way. Anyway, the information is just not disappearing, and some people, I think, especially young kids, they might not know about that, and it's like in 19th century they were teaching kids hygiene. Right now we have to teach the digital hygiene, right? Knowing that letting them know, okay, it's your choice. If you give up this information, it will stay there forever. Do you really want it, right? So that's the first issue about the education. Then. Another story is, of course, the regulation. I think that's also important. Of course, there is always debate whether we should regulate things or not, but I think in some cases it is useful. I think maybe some other discussion members will elaborate more on that. And also I think, just developing new security solutions is also important. We have so many new things, and the IT industry, IT security industry, IoT industry needs to catch up with that. I know it's difficult because it's always a catch-up race. The hacker is always the first, right? Because he's the attacker. The defense is always the second.
Yeah, Andres just said that if the computing power increases, the gap between good guys and bad guys also increases.
Yeah, it's
so maybe
always,
we are lucky.
But it's always a reaction, right? So the somebody comes up with the vulnerability, and then there is a solution to that, right? But I think coming up with new kinds of protection is just crucial, and I think the industry is doing a pretty good job at this moment, finding, going from signatures, for example, to behavioral analysis. Industry is right now using big data to crack threats that are out there. The APTs are very complex, and they also require equal amount of work that needs to be done.
So that means two things now. Early education of cybersecurity in the early ages, one thing, and second thing is advancing technology.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Sandra,
Right.
you'll have a tough one since you touched financial issues. I'm sorry.
I agree with the education for children because I have an 11-year-old daughter. She's in grade 6 now. In grade 4, she was taught digital footprints and privacy and actually had to create bit strips and talk about all of that. So it was really good. She learned how to program at the age of 10 in Python as well. So there, at least from my perspective, my child is getting the education and understanding. And she understands about geotagging, about location, all of those things, sites that you should not go to. You said about technology taking care of things. I completely disagree with that because what we're doing is we're taking away responsibility from people. It's bad enough that nobody reads terms and conditions for anything. All they do is go click, 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 and next thing you know, you have ransomware on your PC. People have to understand and take responsibility. It's, I look at it from, the government, they look after you from cradle to grave. Well, in the digital world, we have to look after ourselves because it's our own information. And education is paramount. I'm more concerned about the people who are the so-called millennials because they do give away their privacy. They just give away information, give away pictures, give away everything freely. I try and hoard as much as possible. I try to teach my child to hoard as much as possible or keep it within secured groups. But people just assume that it's okay, but it's really not.
There is a young part of younger generation that really says that it's absolutely okay, and we are the old guys and we don't understand anything of life.
Well, even old guys. I mean, I'm older than some of the people who don't even understand technology.
I didn't mean that.
No, but that's okay because I've been doing this for a very long time. But I'm less worried about my daughter's peer group than I am worried about the 20, 30, and early 40s. Those are the ones I'm more worried about than the 10-year-olds of today.
Okay. Stefan?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't educate people, because big part of my job is to actually educate people. Like when I go to conferences, I never talk about the products. I never talk about technologies. I talk about the threats, and I try to connect normal people with the threats. When I write blog posts or when I talk to journalists, I try to put these threats into a perspective that can reach the final audience, the end user, who's not necessarily a programmer or a security specialist. So I totally understand the need of education. I was just being the pessimistic one here, saying that education doesn't really work, because we've been doing it for so many years, and still when we see the Ashley Madison passwords, people are still using weak passwords. But if they were using a password manager...
And those were all men.
And those were all men.
Okay.
But,
Great at scale.
yeah, I heard like 90% of the women were like bots, right?
There
Yeah. No women on the
There were
website.
3,000, how many million men and 3,000 women?
But what I think we should...
We are more reckless, you have to admit that.
What I think we should remember here after this session in terms of protection is that in reality we will never reach 100% security. Anyone that's trying to sell you 100% security is probably a liar, because everything is like connected to the human mind, and the human mind tends to make mistakes. There will always be vulnerabilities in our software and our systems and infrastructures, and the best thing that we can do is to get as close to that 100% as possible. But we should always be prepared. We should hope for the best, but always be prepared for the worst.
Okay, thank you. Patrick?
Okay, I think we need comprehensive security architecture, which is easy to say, but I think a lot of it's there already. We know how to do defense in depth. We know how to protect the data tier within organizations. We know how to do secure communications. It's completely independent of protocol, how you do public key exchange. It's around 15, 20 years. Maybe there are bad implementations, so we know how to secure pipes. We know how to secure data. We know how to do strong authentication. We know how to centralize authorization, take all of this away from the developers, so you remove mistakes from developers that developers make, put it into the infrastructure, harden that. On education, I think there's a lot more education required among the IT sector. People like in this room, end users should not have to be so well educated realistically to drive a car or to use a system. They should be asked to do the right thing. If it's strong authentication, they get a Vasco token from downstairs. Something pops up on the screen. It's a unique number. They enter that. The right thing happens. So end users shouldn't, the burden should not be on them. The burden should be on the engineering fraternity in this room to build better systems using well-known patterns. Now, there'll always be holes, of course. There's a long way from 100% security, and there'll always be issues, but we could greatly reduce the attack surface by taking it more seriously. And we might, this EU data protection law might help with that, but there's also companies, every company is racing to market with new systems and getting them first time to market, etc. So being secure and hardened doesn't sit so well with capitalism, actually, and time to market. But a lot of the patterns are known.
Yeah, but let us hope as well that that is not a cash cow. We cannot weaken European IT sector from that perspective. Remember, European Union once did that with the cell phone telecommunications companies selling licenses for the frequencies. They ended up dry, and Siemens ended up dry.
Yeah.
Okay. Andris?
Yeah, so I think we are actually doing very well with solving well-defined technical challenges. If we have a well-defined technical challenge, like having strong encryption, we have it. The issue is that the places where we have something that is vaguely defined and involves human factors, and those problems are going to stay there. And if we have to solve them, I guess we have to accept the fact that the most users will just use the system in the default way, and we have to try to design it so that the default way is a safe way.
There is one way to fight human factor. Nobody likes it. It's called dictatorship. But if you design system with the security in mind and with the most use case behaviors, etc., then maybe if you have this security by design concept within that, and we had a lot of talk today about this, then maybe this could help in combining with bigger processing power, encryption, and so, okay, I'm sure it can be more secure from that perspective. Okay, Stephen, sorry.
So perhaps I'll go back to something I said earlier today in my session, and that's an impact assessment within companies. And so there have been a lot of security tools pitched at this conference, and it would be really difficult to pick one particular tool and say, well, that's going to make the difference. But my observation of the insurance industry is that this is still something that is owned by IT. It has yet to be engaged by the board and risk management functions fully. And that leads to a lack of understanding as to what the critical assets of the company actually are and what the consequences of one of those assets being compromised, either the integrity being tampered with, the confidentiality going, or availability, loss of availability. So putting together some sort of risk profile around the assets that companies hold and the losses that might flow from those assets would help to prioritize where risk mitigation efforts should be directed.
So you're right here, a system, so in this case. Right, Tim, you have a closing word on this?
Yeah, the difficult task again. I'm struck by a lot of things colleagues have said, but maybe just three very brief things. And I want to keep them simple because they're doable. One is, I do agree that we have responsibility as individuals for our own data. And therefore, somehow encouraging people to understand that more, and not necessarily through formal education system, but actually everything being geared to that, I think is incredibly important. And part of that is also about an assumption that seems to be made too often, which is that we have but one identity and it is all there. I'm a great believer in us having plural identities. So multiple passports, each of which have different SIM cards attached to them, each of which have different bank accounts, etc. So we're not just one person. Here I'm wearing a suit. Tonight at the party you'll see me wearing very different clothes. I mean, it's a different personality. So I think there are issues around that. Second, I wish we'd have spoken more about some of the deeply unpleasant stuff going on out there. I mean, we don't like talking about it, but we must never forget that there is some things that most of us in this room would agree on are completely unacceptable. And states are probably the only entities that have the power to do something about that. And that means they have difficult decisions to make. So I would come back to a point I made earlier, which is having an open, transparent dialogue between states and citizens, maybe at a regional level, maybe, and I don't believe in universal, so it's a difficult task to do, but I do think we have to get that right. And thirdly, I would just say we need to be more diverse amongst ourselves. This conference has even less women in it than most I go to, and I think the strengths of diversity, women and people of different backgrounds, people with different abilities, people with autism, having a more diverse cybersecurity community, I think would also be valuable. So those would be the three things I would suggest, and they're all easy to do. We can do it. Let's just do it.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, dear audience, time is our enemy. So in this sense, we have to thank our panelists. Please, a nice applause. Lots of quality information. I think it was really good discussion here. And yes, Tim also is absolutely right. The abundance of women in IT sector is like non-existent.
Except as conferences where they're just put on the stands to look attractive and attract the men. I mean, that has to stop. I go to far too many conferences, and this isn't one of them. But if anyone goes to GSMA, Mobile World in Barcelona,
then you have to change industry in this scenario. Okay, thank you guys, thank you. So one more time, please applause them. Rather nice discussion. Thank you. You may take your seats. We are now commencing our last and final part, a prize draw and lottery. Now, is there anybody who just filled the questionnaire and haven't given it away yet? Okay, Andris, can we just gather them and give to the nice young lady that were scanning the badges by the door? So we need to collect those, the last existing ones. Do you have a box here with the questionnaires? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we should move anyway. You are sitting too long. Come up here and put your questionnaire here. Really, it's good for your health. Just move a little bit. You can change seat. You can cross your legs. Okay, good one. There are a couple of those left. Now, we have companies who want to give their prizes, who have their own draw. And we, of course, have our lottery with the questionnaires that hopefully are filled, not empty. So there is some qualification probably. But first of all, let us give a warm applause and welcome our host, Andris Soroka. Please come up on the stage. And Andris, I will give you the microphone. You see, I told these people that this is the 6th year of this conference, and I had some feedback today from the people that said that conference has really grown up. It's so much different, so there's probably is the way to do it even better. Come here up in the middle and just say a couple of words.
Thank you very much for very kind words. We are trying our best. Hopefully next year we will do a lot of other great, maybe even more bigger things like we did it, like we do annually. We are every year keeping like higher and higher our limits or minimums. Setting higher targets and getting more and more audience attracted to this event. And it's very good that you are all here, and it's very good that so many people actually watch this online video streams, and thank you very much. And thank you very much for all those questions to the great presenters. Thanks presenters, thanks vendors. Thank you very much all those sponsors which actually helped this to become a reality. And very big thanks to our greatest moderator ever we had. And hopefully we will continue our cooperation. And this is absolutely enjoyed everything what
good
happened
one,
actually.
Good one.
Very good.
I intentionally wanted you to thank the audience before we give away prizes. Otherwise, you know, we have to speak to the empty hall and you know, some last thank you words. People are already there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's make a prize draw, right? So I have written something here. We have a gifts from.
Yeah, we have a number of vendors and organizations who wanted actually to somehow participate in this prize giving away. So I would like to ask a representative from Beyond Trust, representative from Hermitage Solutions, from DSSITSEC, from Skybox Security, Cisco, Datacore, Kaspersky, ForgeRock, Balabit, and Sophos to somehow come here near to the scene and somehow help us to pick the lucky winner.
Okay, who has its own lottery?
Probably let's start with DSSITSEC. Let's start with DSSITSEC.
DSSITSEC, come up.
They
come
like
up
to
here.
be
Let's
number one.
make some structure to this. Let's make some structure to this. Yeah, okay, we have a microphone for you as well. Okay. Please.
Hey. So who said that in our days we don't need to collect business cards, we don't need to print them? Yes, we do, because then you can win an iPad. So that's what we did. We collect some of business cards. You see, it's not much. That means that it's a pretty big possibility to win an iPad. So we'll just make a draw.
Okay, you have to announce.
Okay. This is blue business card. It's a girl.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't see a lot of girls in here. So, girl's name is Laura Calva, and she's from Bit IT Solutions.
Laura, are you here? Yes. Laura is coming. Laura is a lucky winner of new iPad, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
Hey.
Hello,
What's your name?
Laura.
How excited are you?
I'm sorry?
How excited are you?
Well, I was expecting it.
Okay. Okay. This is yours. Let's make a picture. Smile. Okay, thank you.
Now, this is really executive thinking. Now, we men sometimes are experimenting, writing some code, seeing what's come out of this. And if we ask Laura, she says, I just expected that. So I always expect results. Thank you very much. Okay.
So the next
Andres.
one will be Kaspersky Labs, please.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, you have 3 prizes, right? Very good.
Okay, I will hold the microphone since you have a precious cargo.
We have 3 prizes for our precious booth visitors that were kind enough to leave their business cards here.
Do you want me to hold the microphone?
Yes, please hold the microphone.
Okay.
And I will, with my lucky fingers. We have 1.
Okay.
Anatoly Valitsky, Optron.
Okay. Anatoly, are you here? Okay. If Anatoly doesn't show up, we can do another one. You just don't put it back there.
It's Iman Saks, Architecti.
RDS Architecti. Himans Saks. Yes. Himans is coming. Okay, please pick the next one already. So we can later make a picture of all of them.
Pavel
Chirkin.
Chirkin.
General Financing.
General Financing.
Pavel, are you here? Okay, let's pick the next one. You have to be here. Sorry, no deliveries.
Can you help me reading?
Yuri Sazanos, Rietum Banka. Yuris, are you here? Yes, Yuris is coming. And we pulled the third one. Why did you let this guy go? We need to make a picture with all of us. Okay, hit and run.
And Andis
Gedovius
from Legatus.
Yeah, Andis is coming. Okay. Vai tu nevēlies atnākt, uztaisīt vienu kopbildi? Please come up back on the stage. We make a photo. Okay, you guys come up here together. Yes? And you know what to do. Smile and wave. Good one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kaspersky. Okay, Andris.
The next one...
I see this one.
Yeah, I think that Sophos is coming here.
Yeah. Sophos was also gathering some information.
Yeah.
I hope it's stored properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with the privacy settings and everything.
So Justinas probably will show the prize and...
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you everyone for coming and filling the forms of our lottery. I hope you enjoyed our girls who were actually giving away the forms. And I will ask for help, I guess, to pick the winner for this wonderful Kindle Paperwhite. So
Kindle Paperwhite. Okay, I'm not looking.
Shuffle.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sophos girls did quite a nice job.
They did quite good.
Okay.
All right. And the winner is Oskars Ozoliņš.
RDITC.
Yeah, we have winner.
Yes, it's a Kindle, so you will be very much into reading a lot of the books, that's all. Okay, a picture. Don't run away. Yes. Good one. Thank you. Thank you, Sophos. Okay.
Is Balabit somewhere here, please? Balabit?
Balabit?
Balabit.
Balabit?
So they are not maybe here. Hopefully they will come. Forge Rock.
Anybody from Forge Rock?
So maybe they are simply taking away the stands.
Okay.
Data Core.
Yeah, there is. Hey. So, how did you like the conference?
It was very nice and good place here to see Riga and all this. And very impressive all the people coming here to this.
Yeah,
Really.
I hope you visit us again. I think this is
Of
a
course.
beautiful building, and there's just a small part of it. I mean, it's huge. Right, you now have to give a prize.
I think this one was.
I hope so.
Yeah, okay. So, Andris, how do we do it? We shuffle the cards?
Yes, we need
Okay.
to probably take out.
Or we mix in the box. So if we
only
take
mix
out
in the box
it.
or just simply take a random one.
Okay. I'm not looking. You guys did a good job. So one of you is now, and the rest will come. Vladislavs Voljaks. Here? Yes. A little qualification exam. Yes, there is some information filled and answers given. Thank you. Very good. Okay, a photo. Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So principally, maybe we can simply take a draw for Balabit at the moment.
Yeah, I think we can do that. It
there is
makes sense. I will put this one away already, so it's not in the box anymore. Just don't forget to take
And for Forge Rock as well.
Okay, so let's take two.
So
Okay.
there is a nice smartwatch and GoPro camera at the moment for, yeah.
Vitālijs Roda students. Ir tāds? Jā. Okay. Here's a prize. Yeah, okay, let's take a nice picture. Good one. Thank you. Thank you. A nice applause. You are still in the row. Don't worry. There's more to come. Okay, the next one?
This is for Forge Rock at the moment. The
Okay.
previous was for Balabit. So
Good
they are
one.
not present, so maybe you are
Okay.
simply...
So the Forge Rock prize will be won by Jāni Šlimte, Riga Technical University.
Jan Schlichte, I think.
Yeah, well, I can read it one more time. It says what it says, Jāni Šlimte. Okay, are you here? Jānis? No, he's not? Sorry, this goes away. No, we have to be cruel on this. Okay. Liga piebalga. iPro. Liga. Yes. He's there already. Okay. So, and finally we can do that. So okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right.
So what we have like next? Skybox security. Is this Skybox here?
Okay.
Thomas?
He must be here, but we can do it for him. No? Or we wait.
Maybe let's then ask Beyond Trust.
Okay.
Thorsten comes
Yeah,
and
Thorsten's
picks
coming.
couple of iPads.
So it will be two prizes?
Yeah.
Okay, good one. Thorsten, this time you will draw. Yeah, I can mix it. One second, don't look. You know, it's a lot of stuff. So I mix it in random order, so it's easy to take one out. So you just don't look really loud. Okay. Do you want to read it? Some local names may sound nice. Yes. Oh, yeah, Jānis Zanmanis, Opticom. No, sorry. Okay. You know, the odds are bigger, the less paper. Sergei Sparfeyevs, Datacom. Yes. Okay, take it. Right. Okay, don't run. Stay here. Stay here. Yeah. Okay, and Torsten, we have to pull out one more. Thank you. So you don't run away, we make a picture with all of us. Kaspars Bogdanovs, Stream Networks. Okay, so gather up. Torsten in the middle, yeah. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Oi, sorry.
So we have Cisco. Is Cisco here?
Must be.
Cisco is everywhere, yeah, definitely.
That's a nice point. I had exactly the same thing in mind.
Okay, we will somehow again pick for them.
Okay, we pull for them. So I need to find one? Or you have more? You have three? Yeah. Okay.
3 smaller gifts, some storages.
That's a nice thing. Okay, let's pull the first out. Andrius Ieškauskas, EVP International. Andrius? Okay. Thank you. Please. Okay, stay here. We will make a nice picture then. Now the next one. Iman Sachs, Ecom. Is he here? Yes, Iman's. Now, how is that possible? Now, how is that possible? But it must be possible. Okay. So what do we do? Punish him for having 2 prizes or allow that? What? Punish him. You see? But okay, it's my fault in this case. Since he came up here, it's no way back, right? Right, this is the right decision. Thank you. Okay? Somebody filled more, you know? It's your fault, it's not his fault. Different lottery. And that was different lottery, but anyway. Okay, and the third one goes to Artur Cers, entrepreneur.lv. But you're absolutely right, it was a different lottery. Sorry for that. Please. Thank you very much. Okay, wait, hold it close. Good one. Okay, let's make a nice picture. Andris, why don't you want to be in an image? I know you're busy. Okay, thank you guys. A warm applause. Especially to Mr. Sachs. He's absolutely lucky today. So, what do we have next?
We still have Skybox Security and Thomas Wendrich, and he actually said that the next winner will receive via DHL a small drone. So this is recorded online, so we need to pick it up and...
Okay, via DHL, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, a personal delivery. Ivans Gryazniks, TG Transit.
So you don't get like a physical goods immediately, but you will definitely receive it.
But we can shake your hand. So your
Yeah.
prize will arrive via DHL. It must be something
Skybox
big.
security.
Okay. Good one. Thank you. Thank you.
So, haven't we forgot somebody? I think. I think no. I think everything else goes from DSS. I think.
Okay.
So there are
yeah.
some couple of storages, some DVR mini, and some small 1 terabyte storage. So I think quite.
Some small 1 terabyte. That's a time we live in. That's a nice thing.
So anyway, it's
okay.
You have very lucky
let's
hand.
pull it out. Okay, we have 5 to go, right?
Yep.
Okay. So one of the 5 is Erik Cezerinch, Accenture. And I'm absolutely happy with that decision because you, sir, asked a lot of questions during my session, so I'm absolutely delighted to give you this prize. Andris, if it comes from DSS, you have to handle that. Okay?
Thank you.
And the picture, of course. Thank you. Maybe he stays? You want a picture with all 5? Or I know you don't like pictures.
I don't like taking
I know he
photos at
doesn't.
all.
He doesn't like to be in the picture. Okay. 1 of 4 left goes to Raivis Žukalskis. Varam. Yeah. Yeah, Ivy. Okay, Andri.
This?
Right. Inese Saukalne, Latvijas Banka. Yes. And we said something about lack of women in IT industry. I think half of the prizes was, so it's very good. Inese. I know it's late evening, but nevertheless. Okay, thank you. We have 2 left. Andris Strautmanis, State Chancellery. Yes. And so, we have our last one.
And everybody is invited to the restaurant for wine.
Oh, that's a great one. Okay. Let's pull this time. So you say yes or no? Yes? No? No. Yes? No? Yes? Okay. So I'm not responsible. You said yes. Aurelijus Stanislovaitis iš Vizmo.
Just about going to leave now.
Okay, so you are the finalist, I must say. You received the last prize. Do you want to say something to the audience?
Yeah, at least at one conference. Yeah, at least.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you, everybody, and see you next year.
So we go for a wine to the restaurant, right?
Yeah, wine.
Okay, let's have some wine. Thank you very much for your time and your patience. I know we are a little bit over the time, but nevertheless, it was a great time to spend. Thank you.